All right, good morning, Grand Rise, Grand Rise. Let me know if you can hear me okay, and if you guys can see the charts. Okay, mic check, mic check. Okay, again, what's good, everybody showing up, and let me know if you guys can hear the audio. And testing, testing. Just need to get some feedback from you guys. Let me know if the audio is working. Very critical. Don't want you guys to miss out on the verbal gems. All right. Had a session where, of course, I was dropping the knowledge, right? Dropping the science, son. But nobody could hear me after like maybe halfway. So again, very critical that the audio is good. So let me know if you guys can hear me okay. All right, mic check, mic check. Again, guys, let me know in the chat if you're able to hear me okay. I won't get started until I get that confirmation, guys. And audio check. Mic check. 1 2 1 2. Okay, testing. Audio guys, let me know if you're able to hear me and see the charts. All right, sweet deal. There we go. So again, periodically throughout the session this morning, please let me know if it sounds like I'm too quiet or you guys aren't really hearing anything. You're seeing the screen move, but you're not seeing me say too much. All right. If I know I'm going to be silent for a bit, I'll try to give you guys a heads up. But other than that, I should be speaking. So just again, keep me posted on the audio. Make sure to let me know that it's good to go. All right. Nick, man, we are in for a surprise this morning. All right. We got very nice setups on the J's, right? We've been waiting and now they are here. So I'm going to highly recommend you pull up your J's, all right, and get ready because it's going to be that type of time. Again, this comes around, when it does. And man, when it does, we get super excited and, we take advantage. It's plain and simple, all right? But breaking it all down, all right, here we are on the JPY. What I've been waiting for has finally happened, all right? And basically what that is, I'm going to bring it to the 4-hour really quick. Just looks a little bit cleaner. All right. All right. Whoop. There it is. So we broke this low. We made this new low. We started all of this retracement back up to this fair value gap. But before we actually got to this fair value gap, we created this fair value gap as well as this fair value gap. So I knew that we were going to get deeper into this fair value gap, possibly hit supply before we dropped, right? But I was waiting on it to mitigate this, this imbalance, right? And it's finally done that, right? And again, I kept telling everyone, this was what needed to happen, and it finally happened, right? And it's happened, on a Tuesday, which for the most part, in terms of trading, right, it's kind of like the middle of the week, right? Yes, Wednesday is the official middle of the week, but in terms of trading, what you guys will notice, right, like if we just kind of take it over here, this is, a previous Sunday, right? And then out of that Sunday, we just consolidate, we drop a little bit, we get to Wednesday, and then we reverse up. So what do you think we have going on right here? We got consolidation, we're dropping into the key points, and then we're probably going to rise up come Wednesday and the rest of the week after that, right? But what I'm getting at mostly is that the JPY is absolutely ready to rise because it is filled this imbalance, is swept the liquidity behind this consolidation, is filled this imbalance, and is tapped into the demand, giving us a nice rejection at this moment. So the moment we can get a nice bullish candle, right, to show up after this, we'll probably have a bit of what we call a morning star, right, which is a bullish reversal candlestick pattern, not chart pattern, right? And with that, that signals strength for the JPY to fill this imbalance deeper and get to this potential supply area before making like a major drop, possibly from that area. Okay, so this means that JPY is going to strengthen. So all of our JPY pairs, right, will most likely fall. All right, so the way to take advantage of that clearly is by making sure that we are at levels of supply, all right, within our JPY pairs. So just scanning through to see which ones are, right? This is here, all right, now at this level of supply, all right? So that is a good setup for a drop, all right? what was that? CAD JPY. All right. CHF JPY. Look at the imbalance that it has not filled, right? Engineered all of this liquidity in this rising channel, just swept it, took out the previous week's high, and now guys, we're going to get that drop. I promise you this is going to be beautiful. Okay, now waiting for a little bit more bears to show up, but we can take it right here from the high, just with the knowing of what the JPY is going to do in terms of rising and strengthening. And then, here's a look, right? Getting down there, 495 pips, guys. If y'all have never, had a nice setup, right? Here you go, okay? And again, only one play, that's all you really need to succeed. On the CAD JPY, if we kind of sell it from this supply right now, we're looking at 260 pips going down, right? Here we are, EJ, all right, one of my team favorites, right? We come down on that, we're looking at almost 400 pips on that, all right? GJ, almost everybody else's favorite, right? Coming down on that, we got about 500 pips to the downside. So what I'm really getting at, guys, is that we can just focus on the J's this morning, as well as, the dollar, but the J's is the one that really are set up for a tremendous payout, right? With a good position being set on them. Right, here's NZD and again, my team caught the buy, so we can go ahead and close that out. Guys, we caught 58, 60 pips on that, and now we're at this level of supply where we can potentially drop and make it here, right? This is why we got to wait, right? Because the JPY can still dip down a little bit more, right? Because again, it is overall bearish, right? Let me take you guys back there. All right, here it is, right? It's overall bearish in terms of like breaking this low, making this new low. This could be the overall pullback that's over with, and now we could just continue falling, right, to go and break lows. But that's not, we haven't really broken structure from this pullback, right? So we haven't broken structure to head back down. So I'm not convinced yet that we'll continue falling on the JPY. I believe we will get deeper into the supply, and then from here, that's where we'll get that major drop coming down. I've been in UJ since last night, profit 400 and running. Hey man, where they got I don't even know where the emojis at, but that's lit, my boy. Okay, that is lit. Okay, and round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. All right, that's what time it is. And again, I just keep trying to tell everybody, like, come over here. All right, you're gonna get something. All right, we leaving here with something. Okay, I'm from around the weight. All right, what Denzel said. All right, but UJ, let me take a look at that real quick just to see what's popping. All right, so oh yeah, we got. I remember you were talking about the retracement on that. So yeah, now we're heading at this level of supply. So bro, you could just turn around, and this can get stupid. Okay, this can get real dumb. Okay, and what a great time for it to do so. On a Tuesday, on a Wednesday, right? So again, this morning, clearly, is setting up. Maybe it'll play around this morning. I don't know, right? You know what I mean? Maybe it won't be ready until tonight in the agent session, which is where the J's typically move, right? So we'll be in our live and we'll be getting live, right? Getting down with the J's, right? But I just know they're super ready to go. So I'm gonna make sure I keep my eyes on it. That way, I'm not missing out. Okay, so that's what it is. And again, guys, I'm going to review these J's a little bit more so that we can prepare ourselves for the opportunity. All right, but I'm going to go and I'm just skimming through everything else because again, guys, you don't need to trade a whole lot. You just need the best setups. All right, so as I'm going through, I'm just looking for those potential best setups. And if I find them, then, I rock and roll. Right. So again, just a little bit of silence as I look through these. But again, if you guys feel like you can't hear me or you think I'm saying something, but you don't hear me, please let me know so we can, make sure that the audio is good. All right. Very, very excited about today. Just again with these J's so far because again, we've been waiting and waiting and now it's finally here. Okay, guys, at some point you guys will see how simple this is. I don't have a bunch of indicators. I don't have a bunch of markups. I got a zone, I got a line. Pretty much that's it, right? So how does he do it? How do they do it, right? We just simply understand structure, guys, and we place our markups where they're most relevant to price, and we read. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. Okay, I know it may seem more difficult because they make trading very, very complex, right? I understand, but it's not that type of party. Okay, again, I don't care if you 15, 25, 55, right? 85, right? You can learn this stuff, right? So tap in with me, ask me the questions, right? Whatever doesn't make sense, I'm trying to make it make sense for you. But you can't be scared of what you think other people are going to say. You can't think, oh, that's a stupid question, I'm not going to ask that, right? All that nonsense, okay? If you're trying to get to it, you got to get to it, right? Trust me, ain't nobody thinking about you in that way, right? It's just a way that you psych your own self out from, getting to the next level or progressing. All right, though whatever question you asked, somebody else wanted to ask it, they was just too scared. All right, so be the strength for them and ask that question, guys. All right. Again, just skimming through real quick, guys, and then we'll get to our J's and we'll be ready to play. Okay. Look at all of this consolidation for so long. All right, this has hurt a lot of people. I don't even have to know. I can just look at the charts and I can tell. Just a huge game that they playing on Euro Pound. All right, if we look at it from a higher time frame, oh, it wants to go down. Okay, that's what it wants to do. Okay, but we haven't really changed structure yet. All right, but what you can see, all right, just to try to show you real quick, this high, this high, this high, and this high, they all sit at the same corner store. Okay, meaning that every time we got here, guys, we had a hard time getting above it. Okay, that's a tattletale sign. All right, that is a tattletale sign. Again, the more you guys tap in, right, the more I'm going to get you to see these kind of things, and the more it's going to start making sense. The more it makes sense, the more it makes dollars, and then you guys will be like, damn, I didn't know it was that easy, right? But it is. Okay, so seeing that those highs were not or having a hard time getting broken, seeing this bit of a trend line that people have bought from these points, placing their stops behind it. This is why you see my trend line, indicated with this dollar sign, right? Because I always want to remember there's money sitting behind that trend line, right? And then I look left a little bit more, I see a demand area. Okay, so this is all relevant to where price is, or at least in proximity to where price currently is, right? Pushing it down to that demand, we're looking at 130 some odd pips. All right, and that's what my team is kind of used to, right? We're not catching 15 pips and 20 pips, right? We're in that 60 to 80, 100 to 150, and sometimes well over that, like we got set up on the J's, which we will get to in a second. All right, but that's what I'm seeing. Highs failing to break, consolidation, which is indecision. All right, we don't know if we want to go up finally and break it, or if we want to start reversing, take this liquidity, fill this demand, fill this demand here with this imbalance, right? Go and get this liquidity at these equal lows, maybe go and fill this imbalance, right? But heading, we're we got an opportunity pretty much, guys, to literally sell from the top and get any of this 424 pip drop, right? It's just what it is. So seeing price break below, right, this low, most likely, right, because this is the strong low that broke this high and made the new high. So we came down all of this is still bullish. We can still bounce off of this trend line and break up out of here and finally get above the highs, right? And this is what, when you understand market structure, you realize why you have to wait, because there is no confirmation that you receive from the candles to tell you that price wants to go in the opposite direction. Most rookies, y'all just don't know this, okay? And I'm trying to give it to you, but you got to hear me out. All right. So again, looking for the drop on euro pound. Once it lets me know that it's ready to go. So that's what alerts are all for. So getting an alert below this low, again, I'll mark it out for you. All right, boom, right there. All right, you get below that low, you'll have your change of character, and even then you still got to wait, right? Because it'll break, it'll retest, and then it'll start dropping, right? That's the whole science behind it all, guys. But if you don't know, you don't know. All right, trying to get you to know. So again, hit that like and subscribe button for me, ladies and gents. Super close to 1,000 followers, so you guys can help a brother out. All right, I appreciate that. All right, but euro pound, leaving it alone, guys. EJ is going to tumble. Okay, EJ is getting ready for that epic fall, and my team will catch it. Believe that. Okay, we gonna get that. All right. All right, let's keep going. Euro New Zealand. All right, this is definitely. I've already had a short position on it, and you guys can already see, like, maybe wicked out. I don't know if I bought it. I mean, I sold it right there, but I definitely knew that we were getting ready to drop. And boy, oh boy, it's about to complete that mission. All right, on this drop, I'm gonna straighten up this trend line just a bit. Okay, actually, yeah, because it was like this. All right, oop, there it is. All right, I can get rid of this. Don't really need it for right now. Okay, and I'm just working with this, but what you guys can see in this structure is that we just broke this low. Okay, signifying exactly what I was trying to explain on euro pound. What I'm waiting for, right, is that change of character, right? Price has now told me by breaking this low that it wants to go lower. So it did a little pullback to the trend line, and now it's getting ready to fall some more. All right, so get this out of the way for a little bit, get you guys close up in here, all right, and let you know that, man, this is ready to go, right? It tested this supply area that broke this low with imbalance, right? Fill that fair value gap, tapped into supply, and gave us a bearish engulfing candle. All right, guys, it is time to sell right now, all right, on Euro New Zealand, okay? And what we got sitting on the table is over 400 and some odd pips, guys. Let's get to it, okay? Let's just get to it now. Yes, somebody probably spotted the imbalance right here, okay? Great job if that was you, okay? And now you're probably asking, well, what do we do about that? Great question. You put your stop above it. That's it, okay? So here, and now you can see this is 200 pips with a stop way up here. But if we bring it above the fair value gap, it's 136. Damn, Bain, that's a lot of pips. Yeah, it is. All right. But on a micro lot, that's just 13 bucks. Okay. On a mini, that's just 130. On a standard, that's 1,360. Pick your poison. Okay. Do what you are able to do with your account size. If you do that, then, you'll be all right. All right. And guess what? You know what we just did? We only focused on the loss. Right? With a really good setup, all we did was focus on the loss. All right, losing 13, losing 130, losing 1,300. Right? That's all we focused on. But what about the opposite side? What about if this thing just tanks, which it looks like it's going to do right now? Again, it has the potential to get this gap, right? So if you're concerned about the 137 pip stop loss, all you got to do is place you a limit order in that fair value gap. And now you can reduce your risk down to 30, 40 pips. You understand what I'm saying to you, right? This is how you guys, just knowing what you need to know is going to get you what you want to get. All right, boom. There's a nice play, right? If I feel like, hey, I might miss out, right? Which is why I want to sell it right now, right? But in the event that it does, if you don't think you're going to miss out, if you do think it's going to sweep the liquidity of these equal lows, right, and tap into this fair value gap to balance that out. If you feel like it's going to do that, okay, put that sell limit. But guess what? If it does not do that, right, you missed out on, opportunity for about 400 pips. If it does do that, right, you don't miss out on the opportunity and you get in from a higher price and you got an opportunity to make 555 pips. Angel numbers on the take profit, guys, right? So that's a very good setup. But, you on each side of these, you got risks. I don't care how you cut it. This one, you're risking missing the opportunity, not making any money. This one, you're risking more on, to lose, right? In terms of, the comparison between the two orders, right? But you're in the trade. So even though it can pull back and get to this area, you can still survive the trade and end up winning it. So, there's it's stuff to it, guys. You know what I mean? You got to figure out, how you really want to do this, how you really want to go about this. I am going to give you guys this sell limit for those of you who like getting it from the higher point, right? The highest point. Okay. And this is on Euro New Zealand, guys. Please get it in, whether you do it on your demo account or your live. All right. Get this play in so you can see the possibility. Again, I'm going to show you guys pound New Zealand, right? So Euro New Zealand and pound New Zealand, they basically brother and sister. And we sold pound New Zealand and we're getting ready to sell Euro New Zealand right now. And pound New Zealand has been doing numbers already, right? Since the week is open up. If you guys check my watch list, I gave that to y'all early. Okay. I was preaching it all last week as well because it was setting up, but it wasn't quite ready. But into this week is when it got ready and it took off, right? And I'll explain that to you in a little bit. But this is again, sell limit on Euro New Zealand. Okay. Your entry is going to be 2.03743. All right. All right. That's your entry. Your stop loss is going to be this, and that is just 35 pips. Okay, guys. Your TP is going to be this, and that's just 500 and, well, I'm saying just 564 pips, like it's nothing. All right. Boom. Guys, one trade, man. If y'all could swing a standard lot on that, you just made 5 bands, and who knows how long, right? This can just shoot down in 15 minutes, in an hour, in 5 minutes. You don't know, okay? But if you in there, you in there, okay? That's the sell limit. I'm also taking the sell right now, again, just to show you guys, right? There's more than one way to skin a cat, okay? And any day now, when the order decides to show up, okay? Dun, 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 dun. All right, I don't know why it's acting up right now. There it is. All right, and boom, same area. Okay, and same area. All right, one of these plays 555 pips, the other play 458 pips. Okay, it's all on you. Okay, but now I really want to show you guys that pound New Zealand, the brother or sister of Euro New Zealand. Look, I'm already in the sell on it. And look, guys, I'm up 55 pips. Okay. And I told you that price here on this, let's look at it on the 1 hour. All right. Check me out. So on that 1 hour, we had this level that was acting as resistance. We broke above it, respected it as support. Then we broke back below it and started respecting it as resistance once again. Guys, that shift told me that we were going to drop. So I sold it right from when we retested it as resistance, sold it from the high. The bearish engulfing candle came and then price completely, dropped. We had a little bit of correction because we have support areas to the left. Again, which is why it's so important, why you guys hear that term so much. Look left, to the left, right? On all those things, right? It's because we're trying to look at the past to see what the present or what can potentially happen in the future with price, right? It's that simple, right? But we got our breakout, right? We went to support, we got our retest, right, of the area that we broke, right? And now we're starting to head back down. So again, guys, plenty of liquidity behind the trend line, plenty of imbalance with these fair value gaps, and an order block that has not been mitigated from which when we look left, again, we see last time we were here, what happened? We took off. Okay, so again, this isn't really difficult, guys. It's just, you know, put the pieces together, right? So again, we want to lock our profits in on this. You don't have to go all the way down, but you can definitely just bring it, like this, make it a risk-free trade just in case price wants to do a little whatever back to the upside. Okay, because again, each one of these lows are areas that price rose from. Okay, and you can see that because it illustrated just that, right? This was a demand area here. Once we got in that demand area, we rose, right? So now, we did what we need to do, but now we're heading back to the next demand area, right? Because again, here's when we got here, previously we dropped, right? So at some point, light bulb's gonna come on for somebody here this morning. All right, it ain't a Sunday, but can I get an amen? Okay, all right, hit that like and subscribe button for your boy. All right, and guys, this is easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All right, the stock market just opened. All right, let's go take a look at those indices. Okay. All right, I took a sell on SPY, right, because it's at the high, right, and I'm expecting a decent little drop, right? So I don't have too much risk, and I can minimize my risk a little more, but there's equal highs here that I feel like price may try to go and take out. So I put my stop a little bit above it, right? Because if it kind of goes any higher than that, I don't really want to be in it for the sell, right? I don't want to risk a whole lot on this, right? But you guys can also, since you're not in it right now, you can just put that sell limit right at the high where these equal highs are, and then you can probably get away with not losing potential selling opportunity on SPY. All right, but so far SPY is down for the day, right? It's down 4 points from where it was yesterday. Okay, NAS is down 36 points, 38 now from where it was yesterday. US 30 is down 40 points, right? So as we look at these, right, we can start to see, we're getting that little push down, all right? And US 30, again, respecting these supply areas and potentially giving us a little push down. So I'm really excited to, try to get into a selling opportunity. But what I'm going to do is just kind of give it a little bit more time, all right? Meaning I want to see it push a little higher. I want to see if it takes out this liquidity. I want to see if it takes out this high, right, on NAS and US 30 at least, because look, NAS definitely got up to those highs and respected it. But now, because it respected it, it created triple highs, 1, 2, 3. So as we think price is going to go down like this, it's saying, wait a minute, people got money over here because they sold right here, right? They sold right there, and they sold right here. So let's go get that. Boom. All right, we got it. Now let's head in the opposite direction, right? So again, that's kind of something that I'm looking for to see if that's going to happen. And pretty much, once it gets past 10:30, right, hour after market is open, things kind of settle, and price kind of shows you what it really wants to do go after that point. So it'll be a situation where I'm going to a lower time frame and I'm just reading the structure, right? And I can already see it right here now, right, that as we pushed up into this high, we broke a little minor trend line, okay, right there, and we had pretty much a little wedge. Okay, so again, this is already giving me a good indication that I should probably sell. Okay, because this rising wedge at this major level of supply is a bearish reversal chart pattern. Guess what? This structure low pushed up and broke this high, making this a strong low. Well, guess what? You so strong, how did price just break below you? Do you understand what I'm saying? So once that happens, all right, where we get the change of character from up to down, we're simply looking for our key points of interest, which will be, any bit of a supply area, any bit of a swing high, any bit of a Fibonacci area, any bit of a trend line, any bit of a fair value gap, right? The list goes on and on, all right? Not too far, but, those are some of the major things that we're looking for that we call key points of interest that we're wanting price to pull back to, right? So as it drops, right, this is where the markets entice you guys to sell, because they got to give you a push to make you believe, hey, it's going down. Now, technically, it is going down overall, but when you see the push down that you've missed out on, right, you think that you're going to miss the rest of the push down. the push down that it's going to have. So you sell it at the low price and you don't even really notice that. You don't even really realize it, right? But you're selling low, right? That's the Ricky stuff, right? We passed that now, right? So now we wait for price to get higher. Okay, let it get higher. We want to sell it high. So get back to, somewhere in this particular area, somewhere in this particular zone where we can sell you from. Okay, and then from there, that's when we're doing, ourselves, some justice in terms of getting in at a better price to potentially catch price falling, right? Instead of trying to catch it after it fell, right? You guys hear that term or that saying, trying to catch a falling knife? That's what it is. When prices dropped a lot and you sell it at that point, you're trying to catch a falling knife, right? Who wants to do that? Okay. Versus, getting it, holding the knife, I guess, or getting the knife before it actually drops, right? That way, now you can chop some stuff up. You understand what I'm saying? And it's the market that we're going to chop up, guys. This is getting ready for a drop. I just, I got to really see how I want to, if I want to get in now and just, get my stop above this high, right? Which, let me see what's up with the dollar. All right. Dollar looks like, well, it did rise, but it's getting to a supply level. And I do have the feeling that we could potentially get to this fair value gap. Oh man, I don't know why this fair value gap looks huge now on the 2 hour, but there it is. So again, we can still kind of rise on up to here, but we got a fair value gap to the downside. So which way are you going to go, right? Again, a bit of indecision at this point because yes, we're at supply. We can still break above it to mitigate. We can still pull back a little bit to mitigate this and then pull up, right? So you don't really quite know, but that doesn't mean you can't make a play, right? This is just, I'm just looking at the dollar to see if it's giving me any indications of rising, which would have a correlation with the indices falling. Okay. But as it stands right now, right, there's no real correlation that I can see off the dollar. Regardless, guys, I'm going to get in the NAS right now. Okay. I like the setup. Okay, getting right above the high, give it a little bit more wiggle room because again, the triple top, right? But that doesn't always have to be like, you don't always have to give it that wiggle room, right? It's your prerogative on how you want to set your stop loss, right? And do what you do. But for me, I'm taking the drop today on NAS. I took the drop on SPY. All right. I will give you guys NAS right now since we're fresh in it. All right. And then we'll get over to our J's. NAS is printing, guys. Get it in, get it in. Okay, NAS 100, can market, sell now. All right, your entry price is 25,094. Okay, stop loss is 25,247. All right, and that's about 153 points. Okay, take profit. You're looking at about 783 points on your take profit. All right, and boom, shakalaka, guys, we are printing. Okay, I assume US 30 will follow. All right, but it is still kind of, not quite ready yet. But again, guys, there's, ways you can go about it, right? You can set a sell stop, right, below this low. All right, because when we break lows, that tells us that we want to continue falling, right? So boom, I'll just hit a sell stop like that, place my stop really here, because at the point of us dropping, right, we should be over with rising. That's the whole concept behind that. Again, hope that's making sense. Hit that like and subscribe button. All right, and then again, another way that we can play this, right, is to put a sell limit here at the top of these highs, right? Because they're all sort of, on that same level, and then place our stop above the swing high, right? And then try to take that down to these lows. Okay. So again, this is just a demonstration, right, for everyone to get an idea of like how, when you understand market structure, you see a potential setup, how you can place your pending orders, guys, to take advantage of what you believe should happen in terms of the structure. Right, so here, this is all a run, Everything that you see here is all the pullback. So now we're back at the areas of the high, so we should get another run to the downside. It's just that simple. So all of this that you're seeing, I know it doesn't really seem like it, right? But it looks like this. It's this, it's this, and it's going to be this. So you're like, wait, what? I don't see that. Well, here it is. Okay. That's this. Okay. All of this is all of this. Okay. And then what we're going to get here, okay, with that next leg is going to be whatever you see coming down that way, right? It's like, wait a minute. That don't make no sense, man. I see up and down, up and down, up and down. What you talking about? This whole thing is down. What are you talking about? This whole thing is up. Well, you know, again, it's a little thing, again, called market structure. And when you guys see it, you see it. Okay. No matter how detail, right, the structure may seem on the time frame that you're on, when you go to a higher time frame, now it all makes sense, right? So you see this, right? You see that run, that pullback, that run, that sideways, that run, that sideways, that run, that sideways, that run. All of a sudden we switch, we go down. So now with that major leg down, breaking all of these previous lows, all of this is just a pullback. So yeah, we may still pull back a little higher, a little higher, a little higher, right? But eventually, guys, right, we're looking to make that next run down, that next drop. All right. So again, hopefully that's making sense to you guys. But you know, we got into what we need to get into in terms of our selling opportunities on these indices. We got US 30 locked and loaded, right? We're ready to go with that. All right. So let's check on NAS. All right, looking nice. Okay, let's check on SPY and profit. All right, again, if you guys need the numbers, let me know and we can rock and roll. All right, early in the morning, market open, we taking advantage. Okay, pound New Zealand doing this drop. Remember, it's sister Euro New Zealand. Okay, there she goes. Right, she's getting ready to make that drop. We took the sell here, risking a little bit, you know, more. But if it does the sweep, right, we'll be getting in with our sell limit order with a tighter stop, looking to make 555 pips to the downside. Right, so that's that for those. Right, let me go and take a look at our majors once again, and then we're gonna focus primarily on the J's. All right, odd dollar looks like it will reach this demand area and then rise up. Euro dollar looks like it will reach this demand area and rise up. All right, pound dollar looks like it will reach this fair value gap, potentially this demand, and then rise up. So they're all looking good for sells at the moment. All right, same for New Zealand dollar. We're going to fill this imbalance, right? One of those things that I was waiting on the JPY to do, which it did, right? And now after that, you know, we're going to potentially rise up. Dollar CAD, right? So it did rise up, but now it's looking like it's getting ready to fall. That's why, you know, odd dollar, euro dollar, pound dollar, New Zealand dollar look like they're going to rise, right? Because I'm sorry, they're going to fall because the dollar is currently rising. So the dollar did its rise, but here on dollar CAD, it's getting ready to do its fall, right? So you can see that that fall, right, is going to be here, while the rise is going to be on the non-dollar based pairs. So again, we got opportunities this morning, guys. It's just all about, you know, you picking your poison and which one you want to go with. So dollar can push up into the supply and drop. UJ again is getting ready for a drop. So Nick, take your money on that buy. Again, you can hang in there if you feel like it, right? It's your prerogative. But I do believe we're going to get this JPY and there it is, right on time. Guys, rejection, and in 11 minutes, if this candle closes like this, guys, we're selling all the J's. All right, at least I am. I'm selling most of them, right? If not all of them. All right, but UJ being definitely one of those that we want to take advantage of, you know, this morning, because you'll end up, you know, let's see, if we just get to this low, that's 135 pips. If we get to this low, that's 228. If we get to the demand filling that huge imbalance, that's 428 pips. Right, let me put the short position on to give you guys an idea of what that trade is going to look like. Right, and again, we got to risk, you know, you got to risk, you know, you got to take risks, right? If you're trying to make it, that's the whole point. You're up in here, right? You're already taking the risk every day in your daily life, right? But now you're just, you know, placing it towards the market for that risk. And I'm going to sell it, guys. I'm going to probably even take it where I'm only getting a 40 pip stop loss, right? I like this. All right. Again, this is how I would like to play this. If you guys feel like that stop is too tight, or maybe you want to push it higher or even higher, right? It's your prerogative, okay? But I like the fact that the JPY looks extremely bullish, and the fact that the dollar, is probably going to get to one of these two areas before potentially falling. So I'm just trying to jump the gun a little bit, right, on selling the J's, which is, worked out for me plenty of times in the past. All right, so taking a look at AJ, right, it is at a bit of a supply area right now, but it's not really, it hasn't really filled the imbalance above it or tapped into this supply, and then there's more imbalance. So AJ is just a little tricky, right? I can still see, selling it from right here, but I'm not really, too excited about selling it. So, you know, I'm just not going to do it right now, but I can tell that it's probably going to drop regardless of how I feel, right? And that's 200 pips to this low. So if you guys want to take it, right, you'll have your position just like this, risking about 65 pips, taking it down to that low. You got yourself a 1 to 3 risk to reward, right? Risking $1 to make 3, right? Risking you know how to go, right? The math. So again, let's just push it to, there it is, 200. Bing. All right, so you can get that on AJ, right? CAD JPY, this looks more ideal, all right, for the drop right now. Okay, and I'm going to do it like that, 50 pips. Okay, I'm going to take it all the way to demand, 240 pips. All right, selling that. All right, AWS outage all day yesterday affecting the markets, right? Couldn't place in orders, couldn't see real data, et cetera, et cetera. It was lagging, it was doing all kind of nonsense. Hopefully that's all over with and we can get back to business. But here we are, selling CAD JPY. Definitely big, huge play on CHF JPY, taking that sell, right? Stop just above there, TP right to that imbalance. All right, and in this regard, we're looking at a 55 pip stop loss, all right, for 478 pip take profit. Again, guys, if you need the numbers, let me know. I will throw it in the chat. All right, EJ taking that. Okay, stop right above it. TP to the floor. All right. And profit on EJ, that's a 47 pip stop loss. So again, below my 50 pip normal stop loss. It's looking good. All right, GJ, again, I want to sell it, but I'm not going to sell it. So this may be one that I miss out on because, again, I'm seeing these equal highs, and I know how that is, right? It gets tricky where it wants to go and get that, all right? But if you guys sell it right now, all right, and you're not afraid of that sweep, then you're still looking at about 80 to 90 pip stop loss on that, and then getting down to the ground. Again, we're over 400 and some odd pips on the JPY. But guys, I'm trying to tell y'all, these J's are going to pay, all right? Pick the one that you deem looks best and ready to go. For me, it's definitely UJ, all right? CHF JPY and CAD JPY, right? EJ is very nice as well. So really all the ones that I just got into, CAD JPY, CHF JPY, Euro JPY, and UJ, they all look beautiful. Absolutely, positively beautiful. All right. So that'll do it, guys. We got in 4 plays on the Euro, right? We got in 2 plays on our indices, SPY and NAS, right? They're doing good, right? They're still holding, maintaining, right? Again, like I said, after 10:30, it's really when you kind of get to see what all is going on. All right. We also got sell limits on Euro New Zealand, and my team already took pound New Zealand. All right. So again, these are looking very, very nice. All right, for huge drops, guys. Let's take a look at the pounds. All right, this is most likely going to kind of reach up to this area before falling. Pound CAD, just man. So here's a good example of how we expect price to go to a particular fair value gap sometime, but it never, well, not never, but it didn't quite get there and it just dropped, right? It may still do that now. It may go fill it and then drop, right? But it didn't do it when we probably expected it to, when price was really close to it, right? And again, you'll learn that, over time. All right, so we hit a wall here. We want to take our profit on pound CHF, all right? Because we missed out on some and it's almost taken away from us. It could still rise, but just to be on the safe side, go ahead and lock in whatever you got, right? A win is a win, okay? Again, most of the majors, right, are gonna potentially drop to their areas to balance out, and then they're gonna rise. So that's what I'm gonna be waiting for. Again, I can take advantage of the sell, maybe try to scalp it, but ultimately, we'll probably be here later today or tomorrow, and then that's when again the rise is going to come, and that's when the dollar is going to give us that nice big drop. All right, because again it gave us a double top right here, right? So we went from bullish, all right, getting all the way up here, to now failing to break above the highs, making lower lows, and potentially getting ready to make that next lower high to go ahead and continue dropping. So that's why I'm going to wait on the majors, right, to get to those key areas, right, to look for that buying opportunity on them. Okay. Hopefully, I don't remember if there's any news today, but let me take a quick look. But you guys know most of the news has been halted anyway. All right, so it's CPI for the CAD, and it happened this morning. So pairs like pound CAD, dollar CAD, euro CAD would have been affected. All right. Oh, EuroCAD looks good. All right, there we go. There's one more. All right, yeah, I like this. Okay, yeah, we broke the high, made the new high. Retracement all the way back to this demand area. Great rejection, guys. It's time to buy EuroCAD. All right, get our stops below the wick. Okay, take it right up to the high. And we're looking at 165 pips to the upside, and again risking just 45 pips. Guys need to play, please say something in the chat and I will get it to you. All right, but I bought EuroCAD for the very nice setup. All right, and I can probably place Fibonacci on this from probably this low to the high, and we got below the 60, but it's all good. It's still a great setup. All right, on EuroCAD. All right, for the buy. But yeah, this'll do it for this morning, guys. You got some questions, got some comments, concerns, let me know right now, and I'll address you for the next 3 minutes. So let me know. You got it, bro. You got it, man. Always, anytime. Just be in the mix, and you're gonna see something. It's gonna be profit, but you're also gonna see some realization, right? Some understanding, some clarity, right? Light bulb's gonna come on. Things are just gonna make sense. You'll be like, man, I've been struggling trying to figure this out, but it's all over with now. Right? I got with Bain, and he did his thing. Okay. So yeah, man. But appreciate the love, showing up, getting to it. Thank you for that, Nick. Salute to you too, my bro. You came in here, you just right at it, bro. And trust and believe. I understand the drive, man. I know exactly where it's coming from. Okay. Here since I started studying your strategy, man, I made decent amount of money, bro. I just want to say, I want to say appreciate you again, bro. You got it, man. You got it, man. All love, right? This is just my passion, bro. So I'm gonna stay up with it, and I'm gonna keep giving it out. I understand the universal law, right? Give and it shall be given, right? You know what I mean? Just like you mentioned just now, man, giving that love back is because I give it out. You know what I mean? So thank you, big time, bro. And like I said, keep rolling with it, man. You're gonna see some. It's gonna get crazy, okay? It's gonna get bananas, man. You ain't gonna want to do nothing else but this, right? You're gonna be like, man, wait a minute. So it's not set up yet. How long it's gonna take to set up? It's gonna take a month. Okay, I'm gonna wait a month. It's gonna be like that because you know what time it is when it's ready to go, and you got good capital, right? All we ever really want to do, guys, is get to the point of us being able to take out a standard lot on any trade. All right. And to be honest with you, you got $500, you got $300, somewhere in that vicinity with the leverage of 1 to 500 or higher, you have the potential to take out a standard lot, especially on these low margin pairs, right? Most of them are like New Zealand pairs. Sometimes they're the CAD pairs, right? Where the margin's low, right? New Zealand pairs, definitely, right? New Zealand dollar is the cheapest one to get into, right? And you get into that with a standard lot and it goes 100 pips. You just made yourself a band, but you only had $300 to $400 in your account. So you go from $300-$400 to roughly, 1,800, right? And now again, you took out a standard lot with just 200 to 300. Now you got 1,800 in your account. So you clearly know that you can take out more than the standard, but you ain't got to do too much with it, guys. I'm telling y'all, 1,000 a day or 1,000 a week, that's more than enough, right? This trading thing doesn't have to be an everyday thing, right? That's where most traders get this stuff wrong, right? They come in here and they just, putting their life savings into a setup that's not really a setup, right? They're just really going off their emotions. And that's what's leading them wrong. And now, everything's a scam. And, don't nobody, taking the accountability for not taking the time to really learn and put in the work. This shit took me years. Most people who may not be rocking with me, it's gonna take them some time, right? You know what I mean? But overall, guys, it's like, what you put in is what you get out. So, you know, I'm putting it all in. Okay, no pun intended. All right, but yeah, that'll do it for this morning. Appreciate y'all once again, and tell your people, hop on in, right? Make it fun for them. You got the kids, they can figure this out. I promise you, right? I got the track Forex Kids. Y'all get at me, Forex, Big Bain at forexwithbain.com, right? Send me an email. I'll send you the track, right? Let your kids get that education. Let them get in the mix, right? You don't have to, you may not be able to open an account under their name, right? If they're under 18, right? You can, and Forex doesn't really give custodial accounts, but what you can do is just have an account under your name and just let them trade your account. You understand what I'm saying, guys? It's that simple, and they can get the fundamentals, and before you know it, they might start superseding you, right? You know what I'm saying, and help you retire, right? Before they even finish college, right? It can happen, right? That's what I see, right? That's my vision, okay, amongst other things. But yeah, guys, same time tomorrow, I'm gonna be in the building, right? And we're gonna get to it. That's probably gonna be the day that things really get to rocking because it's the middle of the week. That's just how it goes, right? Most volatility across everything, and plays are made. We got CHF. What we got? Ooh, look at that. All right, guys, can't make it up. CAD JPY 14 pips. All right, CHF JPY 15, Euro JPY 20, USD JPY 20. Come on now. Come on now. Stop playing. Stop playing. Let's go. Okay, let's go, guys. Don't miss these J's. Do not miss these J's. I'm going to say it one more again. Do not miss these J plays, guys. It's 400, 500 pips on the table. Just let this, we got in from the top this morning, today, on Tuesday. I promise you I'll be back tomorrow telling y'all about how this is all playing out. But by the end of the week, Friday, guys, y'all gonna be looking at 300-400 pips on these plays. All right, take advantage, man. Take advantage. All right. Again, guys, I gotta run. It's been fun. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Be easy. Peace.